Today we're going to talk about challenging behavior and why you would want to enroll your child in a more intensive therapy program to avoid what we call a long learning history with challenging behavior. And what we mean by that is if a child is engaging in something that's when we say challenging, problem behavior, it's basically anything that is either harmful to the child or is preventing them from accessing their environment in a positive way. So these could be self-injurious behaviors that could be harmful, and you definitely want to intervene for those types of things. Now, the longer a child engages in those type of behaviors, the more ingrained they become. So when you have the ability to be involved in a more intensive program, meaning it's multiple hours per week, multiple different therapists, you're going to be able to tackle those issues quicker, and they're not going to become so ingrained. So let's hear from a few autism moms here at BPI and their experiences with possibly waiting a little bit too long to intervene on a challenging behavior.
I didn't discover it till he was 11.
Well, yeah.
And people always call me and say, like, oh, is it too late? No, it's not too late. No. So we went from him, I mean, when he became 11 and the behaviors started getting out of control and he was controlling.
Puberty's kicking
right,
in,
puberty's kicking in,
hormones,
right, exactly.
right.
It was Bananaville. We couldn't even eat dinner as a family. I have a large family. My kids couldn't bring people over, or her friends over, because Ben was running around naked, because he had autism, he didn't want to wear clothes, so let's let him run around.
Right.
I just thought that was the right thing to do, right? Or you couldn't go to games, we couldn't go to scholastic ball meets.
So your whole life changed.
Our whole life changed, and so at one point I found a bunch of pee in a toy box, and he was peeing in a toy box, because he can, right? Like he's,
Right.
So, and I about had a nervous breakdown, because I went to dump the toy box, and pee went all over me, it was like crazy, and I just about had a nervous breakdown, and my friend was like, you need some more help. You need to reach out and and Googling was just starting to come in.
So, and it was probably a desktop in the basement.
Right, exactly. So we figured it out, and I found Candace, and I just feel like we've made so much progress. I mean, we can go to adult places now, not just McDonald's for cheeseburgers. We can, we can function as a family. We can go to family events. We can go on vacation. We can stay in a 5-star hotel because we've gotten to this point now through the work. I just don't know where he would be if we would started earlier. I mean,
right.
And I talk to people every day in my job about they're kicking themselves in the butt. They didn't do this and they didn't do this, and I was like, stop! Like that doesn't and I have to tell myself that too. Like it doesn't matter. Like when you learned about this, all you can do is take the information that you have and keep moving forward and keep looking ahead and keep shooting for different goals. So I don't even know
hit it hard.
Hit it hard,
you
right?
See it,
Absolutely.
You know now.
Right.
So what am I going to do about it? Okay, I'm going to look at the goals that we need to as a family that we want, and then we're just gonna work towards it, and we're not gonna stop.
Yep.
Until we get to that
Until
goal.
we get to whatever that goal is. Like my goal for Ben is like functioning as independent as possible. I benchmark 25. I always joke like, what do I want my other kids doing at 25, right? I want them to be happy, healthy, and independent as they can be. And I want the same goals for Ben as I do for my kid that's in med school or my kid that's an air traffic controller. Like I want the same goal for him. It might not, obviously he might not be in med school at 25, might look the same, but I want him to be able to function independently.
To have those options, and I've seen, with having consistent ABA for Tristan since he was 3 and he's 12 now, I feel that as those changes came about, it wasn't a surprise to us because as we're working, we're already seeing the hints of those behaviors coming in, so we were nipping them before they even evolved into a behavior, which we then had to change the way he thinks, change the way you do things. No. Okay, so when it came to independent showering, another really intensive approach. See, we have found, if anyone ever asked me, I'm like, intensive. Same with the bike riding, the showering. We did showering, and it was, you pick a time that's going to work for your family. It was something maybe I would have wanted to address a more age-appropriate time, but we had other goals, like keeping you hydrated, keeping you your nutrition up. So those were goals that maybe were put on the side, but then we picked a summer break. We were like, okay, we're going to be home. It's, like you said, it's warmer so they can run around naked if he needs to, but we're going to handle hygiene and how we're taking a shower independently and how that looks. So we started, and I think it was like a week and a half, but to this day, those prompts that we started off with earlier, like, okay, well, we start like this and we go down here, and just the systematic way. So I now know when I do a quick spot check and I'll be like, oh, let me just see, cleaning everything, I can already see that he's going through, he's doing the motion. So I know I don't need to go back and double check that have you cleaned this, because he has himself done it over and over, and he's been corrected and taught. So now he's independent.
Rachel, I remember when Brooke was about 5, and we discovered actually that she had several allergies. So we were, dealing with the scratching the ears and, picking the nose, and well, what toddler doesn't kind of do some of those things? So,
That's true.
I was like, okay, what is this? But, it didn't seem unsafe, or, I had bigger things to tackle, like learning how to potty train and learning how to sit and eat with the family. But so I kind of let it go. I thought it was a stim, which was self-soothing, and I think some stims are important, because I think all humans stim on a certain degree. We all have some level of stim, and so I was ignoring it until it became a problem. And so she started putting things in her ears, and we started having to see a regular ENT we would have to papoose her down to remove things out of her ears until she got bigger, and she would no longer allow us to do that, or we couldn't do that, and then she had to actually go under anesthesia to remove things out of her ears. The school had a behavior plan where we were setting things up and trying to catch her or reinforce her when she would pass things and not put them in her ear. Long story short, very exhausting. Looking back, if I hadn't ignored it, or maybe would have thought of it as an issue or a thing that my ABA team could have addressed, because we had to work on it for like 4 years.
Oh my God.
And I think if we had worked on it earlier on, it would have maybe taken 6 months.
Nico has tantrums, or had tantrums. He still has them every now and again. But we would have tantrums that would last 45 minutes to an hour. And it would be because daddy's outside mowing, or you didn't turn on Paw Patrol fast enough, or no one gave me the goldfish I wanted. This isn't the flavor of goldfish I wanted. So it would just be these extremely loud, screaming at the top of his lungs, throwing himself on the floor, kicking.
Over the rigidity type things?
Over us just not doing it quick enough, or because at that time when he was having his tantrums, he also didn't have the words to tell us what he wanted. And so when he would throw that tantrum, I would automatically do whatever I could do to pacify it.
Sure, because you just wanted life to be
I just wanted life to be
happy
easy.
and easy.
Because I had another
Sure.
2.5-year-old and at that time a 4-year-old. When we're going through all this, so I'm just pacifying him. Oh, you didn't want these goldfish? Let me go open up the other ones. And I'm giving you 6 different bags of goldfish to try to figure out which one
And
you
you're
wanted.
scurrying and you're
I'm
going-
scurrying, or I'm standing outside with him as he cries, and my husband's mowing to show him where daddy is. Or we just had to be like, you have to stop mowing and come inside because he wants you in here and I can't take it anymore. And so I talk about ABA a lot with like family and friends, is that I didn't know how to parent this child. I knew like how to love this child. I knew that unconditionally I wanted him to be like a happy, healthy human being,
Sure.
right?
Foundational parent
Right,
stuff.
right. And I would go to the ends of the earth, obviously opening 6 bags of goldfish and telling daddy he can't mow anymore to make sure that you were happy. But because we kept feeding those tantrums, they would become longer and more aggressive and louder. And, there would be times you'd be in the car and you're like, I can't stop at McDonald's every time we pass it. And he would kick the back of my seat when we go back to McDonald's, and I'd be like, I might as well just pull in and get him. He loves chicken nuggets. I might as well just pull in and get him chicken nuggets, and that way we don't have the tantrum. And we can just continue on about our day. But when you're on a road trip and you pass 14 McDonald's, Like, you can't stop and get 14, you could, but you shouldn't. So it wasn't until ABA came on with us at 3 that I realized that's what we were doing. So we were just reinforcing all this bad behavior because I wanted it to be easier, and I myself didn't know how to make it better for him or make it better for us. So it was a lot of like working with our BCBAs and our RBTs to figure out not what we were doing wrong, but maybe what we could do differently or what we could do better. And now we're to the point where when we first started, he was having 21 tantrums in a 3-hour period. And now we're lucky if we have 1.